I've been falling all my life, and people wonder why I'm down to earth.
This is Adversity University. If you waiting for somebody to feel sorry for you, then you failed already. Success is best of those who've been grounded first. Cause ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you. Now what are you willing to do? The only thing that separates a winner from a loser is perseverance. And this is Adversity University.
All right, welcome back to another episode of The Art of Growing Through Trauma. With myself, Cody Martin, and we have the counselor extraordinaire, Nally Alexander. How you doing, Nally?
I'm doing good, Cody. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, all the time. So this segment, so we're wrapping up the series of The Art of Growing Through Trauma, and this episode is about embracing growth and transformation, which is a good segue because I'm all about growth and I'm all about transforming from who you were to who you want to be.
Yes.
Right. So life is all about goals. And as long as we stick to those goals, we will be successful.
Yes.
So we did a five episode series of The Art of Growing Through Trauma. If you was living under a rock and you don't know, let me just kind of run through the episodes. The first episode was Understanding Trauma. The second episode was The Path to Healing. The third episode was Building Resilience. Fourth episode was The Power of Connection. And this episode is Embracing Growth and Transformation. Mm-hmm. Some of the topics that we will be discussing is turning trauma into a source of strength and growth, identifying personal values and goals post-trauma, celebrating small victories and progress, and then that's pretty much what we'll do. And then we're going to also, just give you more encouragement to, just more encouragement on your journey of growth, right? This is what we're about. So, without further ado, let's kind of just dive on into it. So, Nally, how was your day? How was your day?
Yes, thank you for asking. My day is good, just busy and seeing clients and processing and all the things life, but going well.
Great. Mine as well. Been busy and more busy, right?
Right.
So this is what it's about. This is what we ask for, right? So we got to be careful about what we ask for, because when we ask, we shall receive.
Amen.
Yeah, man. All right. So on the topic of turning trauma into a source of strength and growth, I think that's and I want to start that off because that's very important to me, the brand and just who I am and what I am. Period. Just turning trauma into something that I can grow from. Right. You take the pain and you turn that into pleasure, right? You take the trauma and you turn that into a treasure, right? So this is what I'm all about, right? Hence is why Adversity University even exists, right? It comes from past trauma. It comes from past experiences that I've witnessed personally and professionally and seen so many things that I understand the value of educating and informing the people to just be serious about mental health, being educated about mental health, give them resources and the actual solution that can fix the problem as opposed to just speaking about the problem all the time. Most individuals speak about the problem. You could turn on the news, you could turn on social media, and I guarantee you'll have a timeline filled with people talking about the problems, but rarely will you see anybody discussing the solution. So Adversity University is actually the solution. Our Unlock Your Greatness program, our virtual support groups, all of these things are solutions to the problem. Even the series that we're doing, The Art of Growing Through Trauma, is the solution to a problem, because if you don't know you have a problem, then how can you fix it? So I think, everybody under the sound of our voice can at least understand more of what trauma is and how to grow through it in the space that they're in, but also we're going to give you resources to be able to grow through it with licensed professionals who can help coach and guide you through negative experiences and turn those into more positive experiences. So let's just talk about, what it looks like to, take trauma and turn that into a source of strength. And I've done it all my life. good and bad, right? So we'll say like let's just speak from a youth to adulthood. I'm a young person. I'm from Miami, Florida, right? So I'm a young person. I grew up in a pretty rough environment. Football and entertainment was one of the main things that took us out of, those negative environments, but it gave me a gift for life, right? The art of communicating, the art of being able to transform myself into who I actually wanted to be as opposed to the person that I was at that time. And see, at that time, you can't see the trees from the forest. Like I didn't know what I was going to end up being. I know I wanted to be something, and whether it was going to be sports, whether it was going to be entertainment, or in the professional world, I was going to be something, right? But you let society tell it I wasn't going to be anything, right? But I took all of that, all the teachers, all of the coaches, all of the just the naysayers who always told me that I would not amount to anything and I would be just like XYZ, whatever that meant. I use that as fuel in every aspect of my life, whether it was sports, whether it was in school. I ain't really started like going hard in school until high school, I'm gonna be honest. But it's better late than never. Right? So but that's when I really identified my intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Because I had no parental guidance. I had nobody telling me what to do, make me do anything. I just excelled academically on my own just by trying. And see, I think there's a lot of people who just don't try and they're labeled whatever they're labeled in a negative way. But it's never about what's in here. It's about what's in here. Right? So and I don't mean having the heart to be able to do things, just having the willpower and the want to. Like you gotta want to. You gotta want to do it. You gotta want to be better so that you can. And me, once I was able to see different, I understood that I was able to be different. And I wanted to be something completely different from what I was when I was a young person and what everybody else was around me. Right? So I took all of those negative experiences. I took all the negative of what the naysayers said I wouldn't be, and I took that and I gravitated to people who were just like me, right? The people that came from hardship, the people that came from struggle, the people that didn't have, a certain level of emotional intelligence, right? That's who I was, and that's who I catered to, in a sense, for all of what I knew to be important, which was strengthening your mental health, strengthening the family unit, and definitely getting stronger from an emotional intelligence standpoint. From doing that, I was blessed enough to be able to, graduate with my master's degree in counseling, become a licensed therapist, open up my own mental health practice, and build the platform of what you know now that is Adversity University, in which I'm not only empowering families and strengthening the family unit, I'm empowering, licensed mental health professionals. I'm empowering, different professionals. I'm just doing it from it's hard work, right? HEART is hard work, right? That's also hard work, right? But it's so rewarding to just really understand that what you have up here, right, can be brought to life as long as you keep pursuing these things. Right? You know what you want. You know who you want to be. You keep moving in that direction and don't look back. And everything that you ever dream and hope for will come to pass. I promise you that I'm a walking testimony. So I was able to take it out, and I'm speeding, but I was able to take all of that, right? Because there's a whole lot of trauma in that. And I made that my strength. And all of that trauma allowed me to grow, right? So now I'm a husband, right? I'm a father, right? I'm a CEO, and I'm a motivator. And I don't have to struggle to motivate because it's not coming from a place of lack. It's coming from a place of abundance. And I have a lot of love, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom that I want to give out, right? And help lift people up. And because I actually want to do these things, opportunity just continue to come. And that's all about growth. because I wasn't always the person that I am today. But I don't have to look back, right? It's all about looking forward. So who I am now is only going to get better 20, 30, 40 years from now. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I applaud you.
Thank you.
And I respect you and I commend you for the work that you've chosen to do in terms of healing your trauma, and then how you are pouring into the community and offering the resources for the community. And if I can just speak to some of the things that you said in terms of your experience and knowing that you had a level of intelligence, knowing that you could be somebody, it's amazing, and it's a blessing that you were able to recognize the resources that were available to you. And then now that you are offering resources to the community for people who find themselves in the same space that you find yourself, knowing that they have potential, knowing that they want something more out of their life than the trauma that they may be stuck in, right? And I wanted to speak to something else that you said, having the will to do it, having the will to change. Some people have the will, they want to, they just don't know how or who to talk to. And if you are in the audience, if you are that person, Cody Martin is your guy. Adversity University is your place. It's your space. It's your community. This is the resource that will help solve the problem, that will empower you to make that transformation that you've been longing to make. So Thank you so much for sharing that, Cody, and for the blessing that you are and the way that you use the resources that have been afforded you.
No, I appreciate that. Now that really means a lot. I mean, life ain't easy, right? It's never been a crystal stair, right? So it's like the journey that we're on, man. If we can really understand that we are all in this thing together, there's no amount of money, right? There's no type of opportunity that's going to change the fact that we come from the same place. Now, certain people may get up to a place and forget, but we come from the same place, and ultimately we have the same destination. So I think that it's very important for us to come together, band together, just to, I call it group economics, but it ain't always just about money. It's about being able to increase the resources and availability for people who need those resources and the opportunity to be able to, provide solutions to people who need these resources. Because, growth is hard when, the seed wasn't planted correctly, or it hasn't been watered in the way that it was supposed to, or the sunlight hadn't been hitting it in a way. You're going to have some damaged roses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of damaged roses out there in the community, in the workforce, in these houses. There's a lot of parents that are damaged roses who are ultimately raising damaged kids.
Yeah.
And we gotta fix that. And see, in the same lane of speaking of damaged roses, Natalie, did you know that you can take the actual stem of a rose, the clipping of a rose, and you can treat it well, and you can, put it in soil, and roses can grow from that? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually, I'm gonna start doing that as a project, because that's important to understand that things don't happen overnight, and no matter how bad it looks, it can always get better, right? So you simply just gotta, take the stem of that rose, cut the top, cut the bottom. There's some different things that you have to do, but ultimately get you some good soil, right? You plant that and you take care of it. You take care of it for a specific amount of time, and before you know it, you have multiple roses coming out of those things. So I use that as an analogy to be able to get people to understand, again, that it's not always about how it looks on the surface, right? Everything may look good, everything may look bad. But at the end of the day, it's about how you cultivate a certain thing. It's why you need to be, involved with a community, right? Everybody don't grow the same because everybody don't have the same resources. Everybody don't come from the same environment.
Right.
But if I came from a particular place that helped me then you got a person next to me that did not come from that place. All they got to do is be around me, right, and be intentional about being there and just soak up the game. Because now you can soak up that game. You can utilize that to heal. You can utilize that to pass information on. You can utilize these in your day-to-day lives, and that's what is important to me right now.
It's the dynamic of communities, the reality of community that can also be a healing agent. So in some cases, you may not need a therapist. For those of you who are hesitant about, one-on-one with a stranger, group therapy, the support groups that once again Adversity University provides, where you're not the only person in the room with the one other therapist, but like you can hear other people's story, and it's like, wow, you realize you're not the only person that has experienced this or reacted or responded in that way, and that the advice or the empathy that is in the room is for you also. So there's so much power in community where it pertains to trauma and where it pertains to healing. So I love that. I really, really do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the lane of identifying personal values and goals post-trauma, I think I spoke to that a lot, and I just want to kind of tap into your mind real quick. Just identifying just your own personal values and just certain goals post trauma. And I think one of my goals was, again, my goal was to really just to be successful. I always wanted to be a successful businessman, but most importantly, I wanted to be a successful husband and father. That's my ultimate goal. Fatherhood and marriage. Those two is what I never experienced, right? Growing up in the same household. I never experienced a father in the house, right? I never experienced, my mother being married. You know what I mean? I never experienced that, right? And that's something that I always wanted to do. Yeah, everybody wanted to be rich. Yeah, everybody wanted to have a successful business and all that. But more important than all of those things was me being able to raise children that have my last name and that look like me, right? While having their mother smile while I'm there doing the things that I'm supposed to do as a father. Because ultimately, if I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a father, I should be doing what I'm supposed to do as a husband. So these things was very important to me and was always a goal for me. I didn't have many visuals, but I did have a few of what that looks like as far as a happy household, married family with children. And that was something that I always wanted. So on my journey to grow, I realized what my values were, and the values were simply family. Like to strengthen the family unit. Like if you know me, you know that if I have a friend, like if I call you a friend, you're then family. There's no in between. Right. You're either in or you're out. Like it ain't no in between with me, because I treat everybody like family because I always had to. So you're talking about a young person who was ultimately, I was living on my own at the age of 13 years old, 13, 14 years old. So all relationships that I encountered, I had to value those relationships. Right, because that was how I survived, building strong relationships.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like those things are important to me. So, and a lot of people, and I have friends to this day that don't really know their value in my life, because what was regular for them was like life-saving for me. You see what I'm saying? Yes. Like to them, they just met another friend. To me, I just met another family member.
Yeah.
Right. Like you helped me get to the next stage in my life. Yeah. Just by being a good person. And see, I don't take those for granted. I don't take people being good people. I don't take it for granted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is why I take it so rough when somebody burn me. Right. We're gonna have a problem. But at the end of the day, but that's what I value, family and, family and success. And what success looked like is me being the example, right? The success for me don't always equate to money. It is more so me being the example. For example, like me right now, being able to speak. There was once upon a time I couldn't articulate myself to save my life.
Really?
At all. Right. And those little things you take for granted, just being able to communicate effectively. You know what I'm saying? Being able to have just the type of mindset that I have, man. It's just I had to grow into that. And see, I always wanted to be the person. For the most part, I was the first to do a lot of things. So I always had to be the example. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be I'm going to be the first on my side to graduate college. Okay, I'm going to be the first male to probably graduate high school. I'm going to be be the first football player. I'm going to be the first person to play as Q. I'm going to be the first person to, you know what I'm saying? Like, do all these different, I'm going to be the first to own a business. I'm going to be the first millionaire. I'm going to be the first to own multiple houses. I'm going to be the first to do everything.
Yes.
Right. And that's success to me, what regardless of what the money looked like, because there's people behind me looking at me.
Gotcha.
Whether they speak to me, whether they reach out to me or not, they're looking at me and they're seeing where I came from. You know what I'm saying? To be the inspiration, that's the biggest form of flattery for me. That's what success look like for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know not only am I empowering everybody else that's around me, I'm doing it for my babies. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what's important. So that's the values and the goals post-trauma. But the trauma did that. Had I not grown up the way that if I was a quote unquote grew up with a silver spoon, and that's what they say. If I grew up with a silver spoon and didn't have any struggles and didn't have any hardships or didn't have any negative experiences, maybe my thought process wouldn't be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have anything to compare. I don't have a struggle to speak to. I don't have what if I had multiple firsts in the family, right? And I didn't have the aspirations. I couldn't have the aspirations to be the first to do this, the first to do that.
Right.
You understand? So in negativity, there's always a bright light.
That's true.
Right. There's always a silver lining in everything. And I thank God for blessing me with the gift, with the opportunity to just be who I am genuinely. Because, a lot of people do things and it's just for money.
Yes.
I was that way before. Mm-hmm. But I learned fast that just being about the money don't get you nowhere.
Right. You
know what I'm saying? So it's more so for me, it's about the impact. And we working on a nationwide footprint, ultimately global footprint.
Yes.
And just helping people heal and grow.
Yes.
And and it's coming from a genuine place. So, but that was the goal and that was the plan. And here I am today.
Here you are.
Yeah, man.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Yeah. So I know I was going on and on, but you know me, Natalie. Once I lock in, I lock in.
Right.
But so we talked about identifying the personal values and growth, but I wanted to, just kind of dig into your brain and your thought process as it relates to, first of all, turning the trauma into a source of strength and growth, but also identifying personal values and goals post-trauma.
So what comes to mind is the doctor, one of the gurus of trauma. His name is Dr. Gabor Mate. He's a world-renowned Canadian doctor, and he talks about his trauma. And as a result of his trauma, he overworked. He's a medical doctor, and he overworked, but his trauma affected his marriage, and it affected the way he treated his children and all the things that trauma does. And And as a result, it piqued his interest into trauma. And because he used to be a doctor, like a regular family physician, and then he did OBGYN, just medical practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he saw that his relationships were eroding, people were, his marriage was not fulfilling, and all the things, it made him look into the why. And it was his trauma, and do the inner work. So the outcome of trauma and transforming through it and finding your worth, finding your goals and things of that nature, that inevitably happens once you start looking inward. Yep. Once you start looking at, why is all of this stuff happening? Why are people mad at me? Why am I not happy? Or, why is life happening this way? Right. And of course, you're willing to do the work. You start doing the work. That's when you start to see yourself as worthwhile. That's when you start to see yourself as capable of success and doing more and pouring into your community. It all starts with seeing yourself and looking at yourself.
Nah, for sure. For sure. Life is a hell of a journey, man, but it's definitely worth it. When we talk about all the past trauma and then just having different values, what our values look like, having specific goals, and we moving towards those goals to reach success. Oftentimes when you come from less than, it's hard to celebrate your wins, right? I want to talk about how important it is to celebrate your small victories and your small wins on this journey to be great.
So this is good because on the journey to be great, it kind of parallels the healing, the trauma healing journey, in the sense that there are several wins that we experience when we're healing from trauma. It's the fact that I didn't, this particular thing that used to trigger me doesn't trigger me anymore. That's a win. But when we are coming from trauma, when we're coming from the place of survival, this thing, then the next thing, then the next goal, then the next thing, we don't even allow ourselves to rest. We don't know how to lean into the small wins. And so moving into healing from trauma, we learn to slow down. We learn to be patient. We learn to celebrate the small wins, then the big wins. We learn to include our community when we are experiencing the wins. Then when we're on our journey to be great, we've learned how, and we've practiced the way of winning.
Yep.
Right? Because that's also like, oh my gosh, this is a win. I did that. We did that. We're learning to lean into trusting that I actually won and experience that thing. So when we're on the road to being great, then it's being able to recognize that, like, wow, I did that. And this is me winning, and it's possible and it's doable. And I didn't allow the anxiety and the fear of failure to get in the way of this being great, this journey towards being great. Right. It's a wonderful experience.
Yeah, nah, for sure. For sure. I think, it's like making progress is like, one of the most important aspects to, this journey in transforming. And the first thing I could think of is just setting goals. I know we spoke about having goals earlier, but I really want to stay on how important it is to actually set goals. You know what I'm saying? And not all long-term goals, because I think that a lot of people kind of got it misconstrued as it relates to like setting goals. They just want to set the goal to be the big thing, like this big picture goal. And they're not taking the time to set the small goals, right? That's going to help them get that, that big picture goal. Mm-hmm. So it's like, we won't know how well we're progressing if we're not paying attention to setting those goals, right? So for example, if I want to learn how to ride a bike, I don't know if this is the best example, but if I want to learn how to ride a bike, well, there's a few different components to learning how to ride a bike. All right. You got to know how to balance yourself, right? You got to learn how to, control the handlebars. You got to learn how to pedal the bike, right? And you got to learn how to do all those things at the same time. Because if you're not balancing yourself correctly, if you're not holding the handlebars correctly or paddling, the bike ain't going nowhere.
I'd like to add while focusing straight ahead.
While focusing straight ahead. Absolutely. So you got to look straight ahead. You got to know how to hold the handlebars. You got to pedal, and you got to balance yourself.
Yep.
If one of those things are off, you can't go.
And I'd like to speak to the training wheels on the bike.
All right.
Because training wheels represent the community, represent your therapist, represent the people that have you and that are supporting you. Right? After a while, the training wheels, they're stable. For some reason, sometimes it just gets imbalanced. It's like you're wobbling. And I wonder if that's just the nature of things, right? So where you don't need that anymore. You don't need the one or the other. And you find yourself with the training wheels, but then actually just riding the bike. Right. So then you take the training wheels off.
Right.
Too many T's. Take the training wheels off. Okay. And then, but here's the thing. It's the willingness to also fall and make mistakes. I have to speak to this on the road to greatness. The willingness to fall, the willingness to make a mistake and not allow the mistake or the quote unquote failure to derail you off of the road towards being great, even coming from trauma, because a lot of us that have experienced trauma, we have also adopted the need to be perfect, the need to have all the answers and not make mistakes. So on the road to greatness, mistakes happen because we're human.
Yes.
And being able to get back up, dust yourself off, learn, okay, just got to bounce next time, just got to keep doing it, keep practicing, keep moving forward, and still see the greatness in front of you and not the failure or the mistake behind you.
Yeah, that was perfect. I'm not glad you included the training wheels because it painted this picture for me because, most people just want to hop on the bike and go.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But again, there's steps to it. Now, the training wheels, they'll hold you up for a while, right? But eventually, once you figure out how to balance it, the training wheels go throw you off a little bit. So that's the community and the therapy. So you remove the training wheels because now you set. The training wheels help you become balanced. That's progress.
Yes.
That's progress, right?
Yes.
So now you're able to balance better. Now you got to focus on continuing to look straight, but you got to hold the handlebars and pedal. Now, if you don't pedal, it don't matter how well you can balance hold those handlebars, you're gonna fall. You got to do them all at the same time. But you know what I'm saying? Once you start, you'll start to see the progress. You'll start to see that, okay, my balance is a bit better. Right. Okay. Well, I'm locking my elbow, so the handlebars are more stable.
Right.
Okay. Now the last thing I got to do is just pedal. Once I pedal, I can go and don't worry about falling.
Right.
But those are the different steps, and you had to celebrate the wins.
Right.
Ride with the training bar. We took the training bars off. The training wheels off. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm balancing. Oh man, that's progress. Right. Oh, I got the handlebars. Oh, that's progress.
Right.
Oh, I can pedal and not fall, keep my balance and go straight. Oh, I can ride a mile now.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But that's how we have to look at life.
Yes.
And our journey.
Yes.
And celebrate, especially coming from trauma.
Yes. And if I can add another dynamic to your analogy, after a while, you could ride up hills, you could pop wheelies, you could, pop on the curb, pop off the curb,
Right.
and make the backhand. You just you can improvise, right? Much like singing, making music, playing the piano. You learn the fundamentals first, and then you could, you know, riff and add little accents of who you are.
Absolutely.
And make it work, make it your world, and invite people into the world, and all the things wonderful. And I believe that this is what God wants for us, and this is what the people that love us want for us as well in life.
Yes. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, it's about growth and transformation. We have to focus long enough to make these things happen. We got to stick to it long enough to make these things happen. See, a lot of people think like therapy or, you know, attending these support groups that you're supposed to get something the first day and then you good, or the first week and then you good, or even the first month and you good. That's not it.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's the consistency, right, of what you do. You know, when you know better, you do better. So you gotta continue to learn. Like, we are on this earth to learn, not just consume. Because you can stroll on social media and consume all day nonsense,
right? But
we're here to learn and apply,
right,
and reach back and pull forward.
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
that's the way of the world. How it's supposed to be, but that's the way of the world. That's the way of our world. That's the way of the AU world. That's it.
Right.
But you know, essentially, man, we all growing, y'all. We've all been in negative spaces. We all been experienced trauma. We all grown through it. And on this journey of growing through it, we got to embrace the fact that we don't know everything, and we're always learning. And I mean, every single day. And I learn from my daughters. My daughters are 10 and 6 years old, and I learn from them every single day. And I said that to say, don't be that old school person that feel like you just can't learn from nobody, quote unquote, less than you or younger than you or less experienced than you. That's not the case. You can learn anything. You can learn from a homeless person or a billionaire. There's always something to be learned, right? To take in that you can apply to your life that can enhance your life or somebody else's life. So I will encourage everybody to continue on your journey to grow.
Yes.
Seek out therapy.
Yes.
Seek out support groups. Seek out education and educate yourself on any and everything that's going to help enhance your life.
Yes.
And move away from the thing that's going to take away from your life.
Yes.
All these millionaire gurus on social media teach you how to be rich overnight ain't gonna do nothing but continue to cause you stress, depression, and anxiety.
And empty your bank account.
And empty your bank account. You're gonna be broke in the process. You're gonna be broke and broken. That ain't what you want.
Right.
All right. You know what I'm saying? Let's definitely continue to focus on the more affordable approaches, such as Adversity University. To be able to get the education and information, to be able to get the guidance from actual licensed mental health professionals, right? Who are not giving you therapy, right? They give you therapeutic coaching and guidance.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Totally different. Totally different. You're going to feel good. I mean, you're going to feel good either way it go. But in this environment, you show up as who you are, as you should anywhere, but you show up as who you are, but you're going to receive the lowest hanging fruit that you can apply to your life on a day-to-day basis, but you're also getting information that you can be able to pass to your spouse, pass to your kids, pass to your mentees, those things. Like, this is what's important. I call Adversity University the generational blessing, because oftentimes we speak about the problems, which I consider the generational curse, and we're breaking a cycle.
Yes.
With education, information, and training. Like, that's at the end of the day, that's what it is.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I know we did. Well, I did a whole lot of talking.
Yes.
But I definitely think, you know, I definitely think that it's a good place to wrap now. Let's tell them, give them more insight about you, what you got going on. Let's tell them about the support groups that they can sign up, the all women support group, the Women's Core Confidence Circle, hosted by Natalie Alexander and Kim Peek.
Yes.
Natalie is actually, well, just tell them everything that you got going on, Natalie. I ain't trying to do all the talking.
Yeah. Thank you, Cody. Yes. As you know already, I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I am a part of the Adversity University support team, offering the core women support group that is bound to change your life, right? Yep. My course is called Growing Through Trauma. Yep. We will detach the trigger from the trauma. We will look at the trauma in a safe space, of course, and reconnect to ourselves. We will have opportunities to share moments with each other and heal together, right? This is not a group where I'm just kind of telling you what to do. I'm with you. Right. I will be walking with you through this process to the end where you can say that you are on your way to healing from trauma. And then we segue into Kim Peek, who's another amazing therapist who will offer more of an internal look at self and the core and integrating that into the whole process. Absolutely. You guys don't want to miss this. Amazing. It really will be life-changing.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely don't want to miss that. I mean, some great clinicians, great friends and colleagues. You don't want to miss out on these. We will be picking back up another series of The Art of Growth Through. We hadn't decided what it will be yet, but stay tuned. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you want to have access to the community and the support group, the link should be in the description. Listen, don't meet me there, beat me there. At the end of the day, it's all about growth, and that's what we're trying to do. So, again, everybody under the sound of my voice, knowledge is power, and shared knowledge is more powerful, and perseverance is the key to overcoming all adversity. So never give up. No matter what life throws at you, focus on the solution, keep your feet moving, and let success be the goal. I'm Cody. This is Natalie, and we'll see you next time.
When perseverance meet adversity, then success is right around the corner. You just got to be willing to keep going. This is Adversity University. What's your plan? You gonna keep your feet planted, or you gonna keep your feet moving? And success is the next step. Now what you gonna do? Adversity University.